Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Athlete Artist Show. I am the artist Kyle Forge alongside the athlete, professional hockey player Zach Boychuk. Chucky, fresh off a vacation. How are we doing over there?
Oh, definitely recharged, relaxed. Nice to get a little bit of sun, some vitamin D, and back at practice tomorrow. We got an 8 a.m. practice tomorrow, so not
Ooh,
really looking forward to that, but I guess Sundays it's hard to get ice times in Berlin, Germany.
at least you had the day off in between getting back from the vacation and starting practice. Well, you were supposed to have the day off, but you missed your flight, or your flight got canceled. What happened there on the way back?
Yeah, we tried to come back a couple days before practice and give ourselves some time to get back into it, but I guess my flight in Malta ended up there was way too much rain and they basically waited an hour or two before we took off, which messed up our connection in Rome. So we got stuck in Rome for the day, and it was cheaper to get a flight out the next day than fly later in the day. So we're like, oh, we just found a cheap Airbnb, put on 30,000 steps in Rome, saw everything that you need to see there, and then flew out early this morning. So good to be good to be back, chilling out today. Had a little nap, and then back at practice and big Champions League game next week.
I mean, there's worse places to be stuck in than Rome, eh?
Yeah, no, I was kind of lucky. We were laughing because you could have been stuck, in the middle of nowhere, somewhere cold, but it happened to be 25 and sunny in Rome, and we basically had our shorts on, put on our shoes, and saw everything that you want to see. We had like about a 10-minute walk from our Airbnb to go see the Colosseum, and then
Wow.
just kept walking around. We took the train out to Vatican City. I actually really didn't even realize that the Vatican, the big church, I guess, is its own. It's considered its own country within Italy.
Yeah,
So I got to see that and had some good pasta and some wine and got a good sleep to get on the flight this morning.
that's awesome. How was Malta?
Malta was great, actually. Way more beautiful than I expected. I kind of just thought it was a small island, little country, but once you get there, it's kind of a quite the sight to see. There's so much architecture and like up on the hills, like just these crazy views with castles and big walls, and it almost felt like a fortress there. So pretty cool city.
Wow,
Definitely recommend going to Malta.
that's cool. That's awesome. What made you decide to book Malta as the vacation?
I guess it was just another country on our list. We had some friends that were going there, and we had never really thought about going there. So we looked up at the flights. Everything was pretty cheap. Got a direct flight right into Malta from Berlin, and some good Airbnbs there. So it was I think I was doing the math trying to figure out how many countries I've been. It's about 29 or 30 now,
Wow.
um, throughout my lifetime. It counts all the way back to when I was young. I mean, I wasn't traveling a ton when I was young, but when I was 14 or 15, we came to the Czech Republic and Germany, and but ever since then, seen a lot of different countries.
That's unreal. I've never left North America.
Yeah, you gotta take the long flight to get over here, but it's worth it.
How are the airlines over there compared to over here?
It's hit or miss. Some of them are good, and then some of them, like, you can barely even check a bag on your flight. Like, you can only carry like a little backpack. So it depends. We flew EasyJet, and that ended up being probably the reason why we missed that connecting flight. We didn't have enough time in between flights, but the flight there was Malta Airlines and was pretty solid, but a lot of Ryanair and EasyJet flights that are pretty cheap.
When you texted me and said it was EasyJet, I thought first I was like, is that like an autocorrect from WestJet? And I was like, no, they don't have WestJet over there. I'm like, that just sounds like you're asking for problems with that airline.
Yeah, no WestJet over here. WestJet would blow these guys over the water, which is not saying much.
That's awesome though that you had a great trip. It's man, 29, 30 countries. That's insane. What's
Yeah,
next up? What's next on the list?
I don't know. I'd love to get to like Egypt or
Ooh.
some of the little spots that like we've been to Turkey. Kind of would be cool to get out that way. Obviously, it's not a great time with the stuff going on in like with the Hamas and all that stuff, the Gaza Strip or whatever.
Yeah,
But
the Gaza Strip, Israel.
the Gaza Strip in Israel. So it's a little bit close to Egypt, but at some point, if the war stopped, I think I'd like to get in that area. But um, I don't know what's next. I've done almost all of Europe, or all the desirable countries in Europe. There's some that I have no desire to go to, but definitely ticking a lot off the list.
Have you been out to Asia at all? Have you been to like Thailand or Japan?
Just China, like Shanghai, but
Okay.
haven't been out to those spots. That would be probably the next place to go. I think Japan would be cool, or
Yeah.
um, yeah, Thailand.
You should go to Thailand and do some Muay Thai.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I think the flights are pretty long from here, so it'd be tough to go like during our November or February breaks. But during the summer, maybe after I'm retired or after a season, when you have a long summer, it'd be worth it just to go and backpack for a couple weeks.
For sure. Stay at a couple Muay Thai gyms, train.
Yeah,
You've got the
prepare for
conditioning
my.
from hockey. So
What's that?
I said you've got the conditioning from hockey, so you should be fine in terms of the conditioning. I mean, it's different, but like they'll in Thailand they run a lot before they train. Like some of those gyms they'll be like you have to run like 5K before you even start training. Like those guys will just
Really?
wake up. Yeah, it's nuts. My coach was down there for like a month, and he's like, yeah, they as soon as you walk in the gym, it's like, okay, you want to train? Okay, go run. I'm like, fuck, I hate running. I hate that was my least favorite piece of cardio when I was training. Was like my coach was always like, "You got to run." I'm like,
Jeez.
why am I
Yeah, that
running?
sounds
I'm not
horrible.
running in the ring.
Yeah, I don't think my body's built for running, but maybe sprinting. That's about it.
Yeah,
I think that Muay Thai. I don't know if that's going to be my sport after hockey.
I think you'd do fine. You'd probably enjoy it. Like it'd be a little bit different than hockey, but I think you'd do fine.
Try and get into the influencer boxing or something like that.
Hey, there's a lot of money in it.
Sounds like it.
Got
Big fight coming up, right? Was it Paul and Tyson?
Yeah, next weekend, next Friday. So even less than a week now. What's
Oh, is it Friday?
Yeah, I think it's Friday. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's been kind of hyped up for quite a while. I honestly think Tyson's gonna destroy him, but I guess Tyson's getting pretty old. He just came off of what like a bad ulcer or something. So
Yeah.
I saw somewhere that he like felt like he almost died or something. The doctors were telling him that he almost died. I think there's a documentary coming out on Netflix soon, but
Yeah, it came out yesterday, I think, yesterday or the day before. It's like
I
the
have to
the
check
lead
that
up
out.
to it. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm probably gonna watch it tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, man, from what I've seen, Tyson looks like he's getting back in that zone that he was in when he was younger, like that killer mentality. Because there was a time when after he retired, or in the last few years, like when he did the Roy Jones stuff, like he wasn't really training. He didn't really have that like killer instinct going anymore. And like I remember Rogan was talking about it. He was like, yeah, the first time he came by, it was fine. The second time he came by, like I thought he was gonna try to kill me. Like I could just sense like the aggression in him. He's like, I had to get a bigger table because it was scary sitting across from that guy, and that was like a couple
No
years
way.
ago. So like seeing Tyson like in the gym, like working out, hitting the pads as hard as he is, like it's. I'm hoping that he just smashes him, and like
Yeah.
not because I hate Jake Paul, but because like it's because I respect Jake Paul a lot. But I just think Tyson, if he loses, that's a big blemish on his legacy.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good. Even though he's older, I think he still has that, like you said, killer mentality. And well, we watched that fight together. I think the Roy Jones one, and he looked like he was pretty intense then.
Yeah,
He's added a few years on since then, but I think just the hype that this has had, it's going to be a lot bigger for him.
the thing with that Roy Jones fight too is he didn't hit him at full strength to the head either. Like Tyson only really hit him at full blast to the body, and I like there. Rogan was talking about it again, and a lot of people have said like, hey, I think they must have had an agreement before the fight where he wasn't gonna hit him full blast in the face because they're both older guys. So it was like at the time it wasn't even it was just an exhibition fight. So they're out there to get a bag of money. They're not out there to hurt each other. But yeah, the only thing I like that Paul Tyson is a sanctioned pro fight, or it's supposed to be, but I don't like that it's 2 minute rounds. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you have a sanctioned pro fight, it should be 3 minute rounds.
Yeah, that's strange.
And
So
they have bigger gloves
it
on.
still almost feels like an exhibition if it's only 2 minute rounds.
Yeah, like that's
But
the women's rules. That's women's boxing rules. Is 2 minute rounds, unless you're Amanda Serrano, who's been fighting for 3 minute rounds in women's boxing. So like she's trying to go forward, and then Jake and Tyson are like, yeah, let's just take a step back. Like it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, hopefully they don't have a little side agreement where Jake wins or something. They can't hit each other as hard as they normally can.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a real fight between those two.
for sure. Yeah, that it has to be, especially being on Netflix. Like if it ended up just being like a shitty dive type of thing, I don't think either guy would take the dive. Well, I don't think Tyson would. Jake Paul might, but
take take the dive for a big bag.
but yeah, if the event ended up being just a colossal failure, they would look bad on Netflix.
Yeah, 100%.
Big hockey news: NCAA finally voted for the approval or the changes that we've been talking about for weeks now, allowing the major junior players or professional players or guys who have professional experience to play, which means the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, the OHL, the WHL, and the Q, all underneath it are those players are allowed to now participate in the NCAA as soon as next year.
Yeah, unreal. I think that's a huge news for everybody. I I think the dominoes are going to start to fall. You're already seeing guys signing up for college next year, and but I'd really like to see some of the big names, like if Gavin McKenna or something. He's already played 2 years in the WHL. He's ready for a step up. I'd love to see him go right away to 1 year of college, kind of get drafted and
Yeah.
be a little bit more ready for the NHL.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the younger guys. Like I was talking to a director of recruitment at a school, and I was like, I wonder if they'll let these guys leave before they're 20. And he was like, that it's already happening. Like there was someone on who was it on? His name was Ryan Kennedy. I think he's just a media guy. He's like, I think Ryan fucked up and leaked to that Oliver Tulk is talking to schools, and he's a 19-year-old. So there's already guys that would have a couple years left of junior talking to schools, thinking about leaving. So I don't know if that was addressed at all in the meetings. I think that's more of a CHL thing than an NCAA thing. So they think the NCAA wouldn't have any say on that. I'm a little surprised that they didn't have like an agreement with the CHL. Like, hey, we'll vote, but like, maybe there was some sort of like unwritten code like they have with the Canadian schools. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see, like you said, where the dominoes fall and if guys are going to start leaving early. What's going to happen with major junior? What's going to happen with junior A? We talked about it before, and now it's definitely going to be more heavily pushed, I think, as the CIS schools are getting talked to by the NCAA, seeing if they have guys that would make the jump. It's like, okay, what's going to be going on here in the next year or 2, 3 years?
Yeah, and I saw, I think Grinelli was talking about it on one of the podcasts that the Canadian guys don't get NIL money. So that kind
Oh,
of
what?
makes it a little bit harder for some of the guys to choose that over pro. Like, especially if you're Gavin McKenna, you know you're going to be playing in the NHL in a couple of years. You're kind of a surefire, like first overall top 3 pick. Do you go play college and not get paid? Like I thought for sure that some of these guys would be able to, but apparently Canadian players can't. There's also like little things with the CHL, like contracts. I think every 16-year-old kid that signs ends up signing some sort of contract that could say in there that you can't leave early, you can't leave after 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, unless you go to the NHL, unless you go to the AHL when you're 20, kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how the future folds with that, because I think there are technically contracts that are signed by these CHL kids.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big thing too. Like you just said, like what's gonna happen with those? Are these guys gonna be able to break them? Like because they're going to school, so I don't know how that's gonna affect it. I just looked up the NIL thing you were talking about. And I guess it's due to the visas. So if the because they're on F1 visas, I guess they're not allowed to um, have any sort of employment on campus or off campus. So I think like this one was saying they're only getting like jersey sales when they're in the U.S. So I mean, I feel like there's ways around it. Like there's definitely going to be ways around it. It might not be like legal NIL money, but there's definitely if some of these guys like you're not gonna tell Gavin McKenna no, we're not going to pay you. Like you're giving that guy money under the table. The NCAA's done it for years in other sports. They're not just gonna
Yeah,
not be. They're not just gonna be like, oh, sorry, you don't have a visa. You're from Canada, or you're not going to pay you. Have fun in the
yeah.
dub. Like, no, they're paying them.
I wonder if like now the OHL or the CHL is going to have to compete with that, being able to make money in college. I wonder if you'll see more players getting money off jersey sales from like the London Knights, or getting a little bit of side money just to keep guys in the OHL for an extra year or two, because that's I mean, you do hear back in the day guys getting paid under the table in all three of the leagues in the
Yeah.
CHL, and then also in NCAA. So at some point, it's got to just come out more official. There's got to be more contracts. You got to get a percentage of the team. Gavin McKenna could own, maybe 1% of the Medicine Tigers if he stays for an extra year or two. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, so when you were in the dub, you guys don't get any jersey sales at all, hey? Like the only like money you were getting was like gas money, basically, or like a
No,
per
yeah,
game.
it's every 2 weeks. It was like $80, just enough money for gas. I think they gave a little bit of money to our billets for food and stuff,
That makes
to
sense.
get us through the month. But as far as I know, most teams in the WHL aren't really making that much money, so they don't have the money to afford to be giving away from jersey sales and stuff like that.
That's an interesting point you brought up. Like, how are these CHL teams going to compete, especially if these guys are getting the NIL money or getting some sort of like brand deals and stuff from being in the NCAA or what? But it's going to be an interesting thing. One thing I want to ask you, like, do you think they should just jump into it like they're doing right now, or should they have kind of slowly integrated it into the NCAA system, like only have a certain amount of guys this year, a certain amount of guys next year, and then like the third year it just be open season rather than just going straight, hey, it's just open next year now. So like I wonder if we're going to see a ton of decommitments from these like junior A or USHL guys, or like what's going to go on with guys that are already committed, because they must be shitting their pants if they weren't playing in CHL or major junior already.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it was decided through the courts kind of, and the vote happened, and I don't think you can choose how you're letting certain guys be eligible. They just had to open season it, and for the first little while it's probably going to be a little bit of a gong show, and just I mean it's going to be similar to the portal, how they changed the rules there. They just opened it right up, and there'll definitely be some tweaks along the road by every league, and some trickle down effect to some of the lower leagues. But um, yeah, it's kind of wild west, and I'm looking forward to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it's gonna be super interesting to see what happens. I hope like junior A doesn't take a hit. Like I hope a lot of those guys either they're gonna be getting opportunities in the dub, or whether they're like the if they do the whole farm system thing that I was talking about, since there is that partnership with the WHL. Hopefully that they're not just gonna like basically toss these junior A leagues aside. But I don't think they will. I think a lot of guys are maybe gonna get like younger guys are gonna get a chance earlier in junior A maybe. Like you're gonna see more like 16-year-old guys rather than it being a an 18, 19-year-old league. Like maybe those guys will be in the dub, and the younger guys will be in junior A, and junior A will kind of get younger, which I don't mind. Like that could be great for development of those guys. Like there's some kids that end up in AAA an extra year when they don't really need to be there. Like they're too good to be in AAA, but they're not quite making that step to make an impact in junior yet. So it'll be interesting to see. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Like all the junior leagues for sure are going to get younger because you're going to have those older guys moving on early. So, and that is better. Like it will give the slower developer more time. You only have to play 1 or 2 years of midget, then you move in and play a year or two of junior A, then you go up, if you're 18, 19, good enough, you play in the dub or just go straight to college, depending on which route you want to take. But it definitely gives a little bit more time for guys to develop, and I think in that route, it's a better way overall.
Yeah, big big changes, massive changes for hockey. It's really going to change the landscape of the entire game, I think, in terms of development and these guys. But I mean, the NCAA is going to get better, which is awesome. I've always been a fan of the NCAA. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of these guys to go out there, and especially the Canadian guys, to go out there and see, now they're going to be in a lot of these schools. These bigger schools are in a city that gets tons of fans, and a lot of these junior leagues do in the small towns. But now they're going to go from a small town to some of these big schools are in big cities, like really really big hubs. And they're still getting these massive crowds and these massive experiences and the culture, and it's cool. The NCAA is a different animal, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it from a recruitment side too. Like, are they going to be trying to snag out like a 17-year-old junior kid, or are they going to be wanting like an 18, 19-year-old major junior guy to come over, or like maybe some of them will take a shot on a 20-year-old who's been in the dub or the O for 4 years already, and see what he does. But yeah, we're gonna see. I think in the coming weeks, even in the next month here, as we head into winter and as the seasons kind of really start going, it'll be interesting to see how many decommitments there are from junior A guys and how many commitments there are to these major junior guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, and I think it's better in Canada as well. We're going to see more of the NCAA. We're starting to see more of it, anyways, just because of how big it's got. But now that you're going to see a lot more, high-end draft picks going to play down there, and that be one of the main parts of the developed system, I think it's going to be great overall. And yeah, I know the WHL and all these leagues are going to take a little bit of a hit, but it's just going to sort itself out, and it's going to get younger. There'll be some interesting teams like in the WHL. Are you just going to have a bunch of old big guys, 19, 18, 19, 20-year olds, and try and take on like young teams? Like every roster is going to be constructed different. Like when you're going to the Memorial Cup, like let's say you're a host team, you're obviously going to stack up on older players because you got to think those extra years of the WHL are going to help a lot. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how a lot of teams structure their rosters in all the leagues.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, are these major junior teams going to be more going for more of a developmental thing, or are they still going to be like, we just want to win, like regardless of where these guys are going next year or the year after? Like, do we just want to win, or do we actually want to help develop these guys and get them to the next level?
Yeah, it's gonna depend year to year. You're gonna be relying on the draft early on and try and get some of those really good outliers. But if you want a solid team every year and you want to win, you're gonna have to have older players. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how it plays out.
Now, here's a question for you. As coming from an NHL standpoint, do you think these guys that are these teams that are drafting guys out of the dub or out of major junior, do you think they're going to want them to stay major junior, or do you think they're going to want them to say to go, hey, you've done these 2 years in major junior already, go to the NCAA, kind of like you were saying you would have done when you were a player?
Yeah, I think it'll be situational depending on player to player, kind of draft pick to draft pick. Like if you really lit up the WHL for, 2 or 3 years or whatever it is, I think you need to move on and take that next step. Go to college or turn pro early if that's really what you want. But I think it's going to depend on the size of the guys because you're going to take an 18-year-old kid, maybe he's smaller, maybe he's undersized, and are you going to play him against a 24-year-old college player? Like it's really going to depend on guy to guy basis, and it's the same way, when you're bringing guys into the NHL and the AHL and where you're kind of slotting guys. It really depends on where you are in your development.
Do you think the AHL rules are going to change now that the NCAA rules have? Because if guys are leaving to go from major junior to the NCAA, are guys gonna be able to go to the A before they're 19 or 20? What is
Yeah,
it? What is it? Is it
I
19 or
think they'll
20?
change a little bit just because it's going to be harder to get a lot of younger players. So maybe the AHL will take out the veteran rule. I think right now you can only have 5 guys that have played over 250 games or whatever it is. So maybe you make that into like 10 guys and have a few more older players for the AHL and then just bring in, the 22, 23-year-old guys that are ready for the AHL after they're done college, after they've played 3 or 4 years and see how that plays out.
Yeah, it could be like it could just be like an extra step, like going from junior rather than getting sent back down to junior as like an 18, 19-year-old guy, like you said, go to the NCAA, and then if they're still not ready for the NHL, there's that AHL gap in there that they can still go through to develop. I think it kind of adds that extra layer of development.
Yeah, for sure. And some guys are outliers too. Look at,
Yeah,
Macklin Celebrini, the youngest guy in the NHL right now, scores on the oldest goaltender in the NHL right now, Marc-Andre Fleury at 39.
yeah,
So there's definitely guys who only need, a year or two in college and can turn to the NHL right away or go play in the AHL and be a really good call up guy. So there's definitely outliers as well.
for sure. Should we get into some bets from Wins here? A quick break to hear from our brand new presenting sponsor, wins.io. To sign up, all you got to do is enter your email, enter your password, and use our promo code AAS to get an exclusive no deposit offer and get 50 free spins on Gates of Wins. Again, that's the bonus code AAS for Athlete Artist Show. You get 50 free spins on Gates of Wins. Your max winnings is $100. Your turnover wager requirements is 40 times. Minimum deposit required for withdrawal verification, and general terms apply. What stands out with Wins? All promotions come with no wagering, and they reward players up to 35% on daily and weekly basis in terms of cashback and rakeback. The loyalty program is called Wins Up, and users can read more about it at wins.io/winsup. That's WINZUP. Again, use our promo code AA Show on sign up and get 50 free spins on Gates of Wins. And now back to the show.
Yeah,
To end
I'm
it
I'm
off,
looking at the Flames Sabres right now. They're playing in like 2 hours or
should
an
we?
hour and a half.
I thought we weren't allowed to bet on the Flames, Chucky.
I'm thinking we should probably bet against the Flames or take the over.
Against the Flames, against Buffalo.
I mean, Buffalo's pretty bad. Maybe we should just take the over on that one.
Or we could just take the Flames.
Mm,
You're like, no.
I'm still not sold on the Flames. I feel like they've come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, but it's still Buffalo.
That's true. That's true.
What's this one we're looking at here? Are you looking at Wins right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to take the over? I mean, they're not too far apart. You take money line either, but
Yeah, that's pretty even. You're really feeling the Flames tonight?
I mean, I'm never really feeling the Flames. I never have full confidence in them. What's the over
I mean,
six?
I
That's a
definitely
that's a
want to
pretty
see them
big
win.
over. That's a pretty big
It would
over.
be more fun to bet on the Flames and take the over. Just hope for a ton of goals.
Yeah, won't
That's a
let us
good game.
parlay the Flames and an over, so we have to do one or the other. I don't know.
Let's take the
Over.
Flames then. You're off suspension.
All right, off suspension. We'll see if I end up right back on it. We've we ended up winning our money back through the bets last week. I can't. Yeah, so our bets from last week before we tossed this one on the Flames. We had over. We bet the over 5.5. Blackhawks Kings. Did that game go? Oh yeah, that game went into a shootout. Actually, my buddy was at it. So at the end of regulation, it was 3-3. Beat the over by half, which is nice.
Yeah, we
And
needed
then
that.
yeah, we definitely needed that.
It was a big third period because we were struggling for goals the first couple periods.
Yeah, that was a massive third period. I was like, we should have took the Hawks, but we would have. If we would have took the Hawks, it would have only been regulation. So it's a good thing we hit the over. But the Dallas Florida game, we took the under. It was under 6.5. Ended up 4-2. We almost lost that one.
That was a tight one. What a win.
It was a win. So
Remember you wanted to take Chicago was down 2-0 and you wanted to take them going into the third period?
Yeah, there was like 16. It was like a 16 times win if we would have.
I think it was 26-1, wasn't it?
Was it 26-1?
I'm pretty sure. $100 would have paid you 2,600.
Yeah, that would have been. It would have been nice. But like I said, we would have only hit the tie, so we would have been close. But it was good to hit the over. Still a good win. Our first week on wins, we ended up winning our money back that we lost in the casino portion of wins. So the live dealers took our money. The sports bets on wins gave us our money back. But so we'll take the Flames here today. This podcast will be out probably after we take them, but we'll tweet this out. Bet $100 to win 285. Not bad.
Looking at the NFL ones right now, we got New York Giants, Carolina Panthers in Germany. They're playing.
Ooh.
So that's tomorrow.
Who are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm
Carolina.
I'm definitely not on Carolina. I know you are, but the New York Giants are not a very good team either. But Carolina is last in the league in defense, so
I think
I
they're
don't
last in
know
the
if
league
they're
in
going to be
everything.
shutting down anybody.
The over under is 40, and they're pretty even there too. 189 for under, 188 for over.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But you take Carolina, you get almost a 3.5.
What's the spread?
For the over under? Oh no, the spread. Sorry, 3.5.
3.5. So
Yeah.
that's not very many points for
No.
Carolina. I feel
No.
like yeah, I still like the Giants in that. I wish I could go to the game. I guess we have early practice, but it might be tough to get down to Munich in time for the game.
Would you just take a train or a flight?
Yeah, you could take like a 3-hour train, get there, 3 or 4 hour train, maybe get there just after kickoff.
Damn, that'd be kind of sick.
That'd be sweet.
Do you guys have like I don't know what it would be, like a PR team that can get you guys like tickets and stuff for events? Or
Not for those games, I wouldn't think,
no?
but I'm sure a bunch of the Munich guys will go to that game, the Red Bull team down there.
Yeah. So Carolina, New York. What do you want to say? What do you want to put? You pick this one fully. This one's all you.
I like the Giants -3.5.
Giants -3.5. Bet is placed.
You have anything you want to place?
I think that's good. Maybe we'll do some. I think Wins has some good live betting. So we'll if we come across a game that has a good live bet or some live odds, we'll tweet it out and see. We'll try to give those Merles calls. Everybody wins or everybody rides.
EBR.
Those are our picks. Flames are today. By the time this comes out, that game will probably be over. But like I said, we'll tweet it out. Panthers, Giants in Munich tomorrow. Chucky, anything else you want to go over before we hop off here?
No, I think that's good.
Beauty. Yeah, we'll
Go
keep
Flames,
talking.
go.
Go Flames, go. We'll keep talking about the NCAA Major Junior thing as more info starts to come out. I know we've already been talking about it for, it seems like, months now. But we had Kami on talking about it. We had Merles on talking about it. Maybe we'll try to get like a major junior coach or something like that, or a GM. Maybe we'll try to get someone from your side. We've had a lot of NCAA guys, so we'll try to get someone from like a front office, a major junior side. See what their input is. See,
Yeah, get some people who actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Chucky. try to go 4 for 4 on wins here.
Alrighty.
Stream Sunday. Flames tonight. Giants over Panthers tomorrow. That's it. We will see you guys on the stream and see you guys next week.
Thanks, Wins. Thanks, Rumble.
Thank you.
Peace out, buddy.